Hello YouTube, Calspot050 here with an update to my Hero Gate deck profile. Now, it's the closest thing I can get to Hero Gate because it's my build and it is ridiculous. That's why I call it my crazy ass heroes on Dueling Network. But anyway, on with the show and the deck profile. Pretty staple in any hero deck, 3 Neos Alias. If you don't know why it's not a staple, then you shouldn't really be playing heroes. 2 Bubble Man. I think Bubble Man's a brilliant card, very underrated. I didn't run it at 3 because I wanted another space for another one of the elemental heroes. 1 Stratos, 1 Ice Edge, that's instead of the 3rd Bubble Man, because it's always good to keep an Ice Edge around. 1 Voltec, 1 Prisma, and 1 Heat. 1 Heat and 1 Prisma. Still, there's a sort of my nature heroes, but regardless of that, that's the 10 elemental heroes I run. I think 10's enough to cover all the fusions because I run miracle fusions as well, so it's quite handy. For the Neospatians, I run 1 Grand Mole and 2 Air Hummingbirds. Now, the reason I do this you'll see later, but Tengus, when they went down to 2, I needed to find a replacement because I've tried running the deck with 2 Tengus. The Tengus were shit at 2, so I wanted a replacement, and these guys fill the spot really well. And Grand Mole is just a grand troll. Everyone has to run him. 1 Honest, of course, because I do run a multitude of light monsters, so it'd be silly not to run it. And 3 Effect Veiler. Because, come on, let's be honest, who doesn't need a free Effect Veiler these days? Unfortunately, I've got one of every rarity, and it's not ultimate. So, if you can help me out on that one, please send me a message. Alright, on to the magics now. Of course, you've got your standard rotor and 3 equals for the search power. Pretty staple. If a deck does have that much search power, then exploit it like crazy. I also take a Hero Lives. I think it's actually a really good card and it's worth trying out. If you don't get on with it, then fine. Not a problem, but I think it's a great tech. It's great to top deck late game when there's still a hero or 2 left in your deck. You can just whip it out, especially if there's a fusion gate on the field or a set super poly, then you're fine. But no, it just makes for a little extra play or 2. 1 set of the Holy Trinity, of course being Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, pretty staple, enough said. 3 Miracle Fusion. If you run a hero deck, you run these, enough said. 3 set plays of Fusion Gate. Again, because it's a Hero Gate build, this is why the Fusion Gates are in here. However, when Escuridao comes out, I will probably change one of these for the last Super Poly, of which 2 of them are here. The other one is in my side deck for now because of that Dark Archetype matchup. So I want to make sure I've got as much plays as I can when I can. And of course, Future Fusion is a ridiculous card regardless of whether you play my tech or not, and you'll see my fusion tech in a minute. Anyway, onto the traps now. I'm trying out the Transmigration Prophecy to recycle the fusion cards, to recycle the heroes themselves. It's a brilliant card. Everyone underrates it, even I did for a while, just because it's at 1. It's one of those cards that you easily forget about, but at the same time it can be ridiculously good at the same time. Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, enough said really. Torrential in Starfoil, Mirror Force, and 2 Bottomless Trap Holes. Pretty standard trap lineup to cover near enough everything this meta has to offer. Anyway, on to the extra deck now, and I'll start with the Exceed monsters. I run Utopia and Chaos Utopia, or Utopia Ray as it's properly called. 1 Blade Armor Ninja and 1 Leviathan Dragon. The only reason I run Leviathan Dragon is because I don't own a Zen mains yet. Keyword yet. Now on to the actual heroes. Here's the card I'm on about a lot. Elemental Hero Divine Neos. Now I can make him using Neos Alias, one of the Neospatians, and 3 other heroes. Now the funny thing with this is if I do this using Future Fusion, that puts 4 heroes and a other wind type monster in my graveyard. And if I have, I don't know, say Miracle Fusion in my hand, I'm pretty sorted. Also, it's a great card anyway. 2 Gaia to cover the Earth type attribute matchups and to use Grand Mole if I have to, which I barely ever do, but for the matchups that run Earth monsters, it's great, and especially as the Gears and maybe Karakuri's coming back as well. All these things coming up, it's great to anticipate. 1 Nova Master, because there isn't really much stuff that runs fire type monsters apart from, you know, the obvious Zen mains and the Evolstars, but you don't come up against often Evol monsters, and against Lagia it's good. Good with Super Poly, which is why I side the other one, but I'd much rather have the space for other cards instead. 1 Great Tornado for that exact same reason, just to cover the wind attribute. 3 Absolute Zeros for the water attribute and for the Bubble Men and the Ice Edge and the other water monsters I run. And also, of course, 3 Shining. So, pretty standard lineup, but it works perfectly for me. Now for the side deck, quickly. 1 Nova Master and 1 Great Tornado to cover the other the matchups. Of course, I will have to rework this out once the Skyrodale comes out, but until then, 2 Consecrated Light deals with any dark deck perfectly. 2 Kinetic Soldier deals with any warrior matchup like the mirror match or the upcoming Samurai Onslaught. That will be round 2, I guess. The 1 Super Polymerization, I side it because it's not all the time that I will come up against a deck that I can use this in, especially if it's the likes of Dark World or Insectors. Then I need other cards other than Super Polymerization in order to try and benefit. 2-Dimensional Fisher, because heroes don't really worry about banishing stuff too much, especially as the fact I run 3 Hero Gate, so it doesn't affect me as much as people would think, yet on the other hand it can devastate certain opponents. 2 Space Cyclone. Now I did cover this card in one of my Super Secret Side Deck Choice episodes. It's a great card, I think, and okay, Doomlord's a good alternative, but until Skyrodale comes out there's no real need to put any dark monsters in this deck. So Space Cyclone, just to detach the Xyz material from an Xyz monster to screw up their effects, will do fine. 2 MST, quite simply a necessity in certain situations, and 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror for, again, I've got as much dark cover as possible because the Skyrodale isn't out yet. But anyway, comment below with your thoughts on the deck, leave any changes or advice you would give me, and yeah, until next time, take care YouTube.